This is the Sunny Side Up podcast.
Hey, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Alan.
And we're missing a third, I know.
Where's Angel?
The pretty one's gone. Hey, we had a lot going on this week. She had a lot of things to take care of as well as school. And for those of you that knew who Destiny was,
we met her in one of the episodes.
Yeah, we had to take care of her this week. She got some things going on. So we're us soloing it. Well, not really soloing, but
it's a wish sandwich.
It's a
wish.
You
know what a wish sandwich is?
What's a wish
it's
sandwich?
When you get two pieces of bread and wish you had something in the middle.
I know. The pretty one's gone. She's
no
not
eye candy
this week.
Yeah,
that sucks. I'm sorry.
So, yeah.
Disappointing for you guys. It sucks.
Yeah, so.
But, hey, the
show must go on.
Yeah.
So, Angel, we miss you.
Yes, she'll be back next week.
Okay.
So we will have her back next week. But I've been excited for this episode of Sunny Side Up, episode number 9.
Yep.
Just to get things clear and not call it a different episode.
No, it's actually the 9th episode of the series.
I hate it that there's not 3 people either, because I cover our beautiful logo back here if you're watching on video.
Yeah.
When it's just 2 people, it's not really in. It was meant for 3.
I see.
So, yeah.
Well,
but
it's okay. The podcast crew doesn't know.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's fine. So, very special podcast this week. Been excited about this one. This one kind of touches home a little bit.
Absolutely.
So take it.
Well, you and I, Brandon and I, have been involved in the Make-A-Wish fundraising event for several years through our radio job. And this week is our 8th year of raising money for the Make-A-Wish Oklahoma Foundation.
It'll be coming up in 2 days, actually.
Yeah.
So we'll be there this Saturday.
So we're going to provide some links to the YouTube channel and to however the podcast channel works. You're the magician at that stuff, not me.
Basically, if you're listening...
Links will be provided.
Yeah, if you're listening on YouTube and want to check out links that we're going to talk about here in a minute, you can kind of redirect to our YouTube and or our Facebook, and that's probably the easiest is YouTube and Facebook, because Instagram you can get dicey. So go to Facebook or YouTube and you can find the links there,
or just go to the Make-A-Wish Oklahoma website, and that's where the money's going that we're going to be talking about here locally.
Yep.
However, that being said, Make-A-Wish is a worldwide organization.
Yeah.
You know, did you realize, you may not even know this, do you know how long Make-A-Wish has been around?
I don't know that, no.
Since 1977, believe it or not. Wishes have been granted. Story all started in 1977 with a 7-year-old little boy had leukemia.
Okay.
And his mom was friends with the local police department, and she said, you know what, if we could just someday get him a helicopter ride in the police helicopter, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
And one of the police officers, actually was customs agent in Arizona, told her, she said, one of these days we'll do that. Well, we find out that her child had leukemia and he was going to die.
Oh, wow.
Like it's one of those things where it's terminal any minute. She goes to the customs agent headquarters and she said, if we're going to do this, we got to do this right now.
Right.
So Tommy, one of the customs agents, took little Chris Pauling aside. They deputized him. The only thing they had was a Smokey the Bear hat. So they got him a Smokey the Bear hat.
That's okay.
He spent the day with the officers in Arizona. He got to take that helicopter ride, a tour of the Department of Public Safety. They deputized him as an honorary Department of Public Safety officer. And 4 days later, when little Chris passed away, they gave him a full honors burial as an Arizona State U.S. Customs agent.
That's nuts.
And
That's really
on his gravestone, it shows that he was a customs agent.
That's really neat.
So his mom, Linda, was so touched by it. So were the agents there in Arizona. They said, you know what, this turned out so good as far as, not good with the death, but I mean,
making
good
the
for
best
child.
of a worse situation.
Yeah, that we should keep doing this. And Linda and a bunch of her friends actually started Make-A-Wish back in 1977.
Oh, wow. So just because of one person's, being noble, that and being kind, that goes a long ways, people. It really does. Being kind, no matter, even if it's just a simple gesture, that can go forever. And or start an organization that is a worldwide known organization for helping terminally ill children. And
450,000 wishes have been granted so far nationally.
That's so crazy.
Make-A-Wish.
And we've met over the years.
Yeah.
Even me, I've been around this thing for, how long have you been doing
8 years.
It?
8 years, and you've been doing it your entire adult life.
Well, let's think about that, because 8 years ago, I'm 26. I'd have been 18, probably.
Yeah.
17. So
your entire adult life.
Still a punk teenager at some point in the deal.
Yeah.
And but man, you meet some of these people, and and the attitudes that are there are just, it's just awful situations, and there's no denying that. But they seem to really, if anything, lift you up. Then
during our Make-A-Wish fundraising events that we do, there's a lot of crying going on, but it's usually happy tears.
Yeah.
But you and I personally have gotten to see kids that some of them were terminal, some of them aren't with us today.
Right.
But Jared and his sister, who live in northeast Oklahoma, over around Veneta, Oklahoma, are still with us.
Yeah.
And they were a couple of Wish kids, and they're a little bit younger than you are, but they're in their early to mid-20s. They have terminal diseases, but Make-A-Wish, they've been Make-A-Wish kids now for years, working with the Make-A-Wish organization. So, pretty touching. We've seen wishes, kids going to Disney World, stereo installations. Anytime Make-A-Wish nationally and Make-A-Wish Oklahoma too. Let's say you had a wish that you wanted to, I don't know, have a burger night.
Yeah.
Something what you think is simple. Well, Make-A-Wish takes that burger night and just makes it insanely huge.
Yeah.
Insanely huge.
And it's such a cool deal.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, bringing this to the podcast and again, this podcast is here to be personal with everybody and a little bit about us. And I mean, we've told you about Destiny, and it's not necessarily with Make-A-Wish. But
she could be a Make-A-Wish child if she wanted to be. That's the beauty of Make-A-Wish. That's where the wishes begin, is by families.
It makes it so much more of an understanding and how hard it's been for these people that have been with Make-A-Wish and their families, and seeing seeing her go through that is really. It's crazy that you have an organization, not crazy, that's the wrong word. It's amazing that you have an organization that's able to come in and kind of, relieve some stress for a while that's really hard to relieve in situations like that. Because we're there right now.
Right.
So.
And since we're on that subject, if you are at a point in your life where you have somebody that you think needs a wish made true, it could be a family member, it could be a friend. If you're wondering, how in the world do I get more information about this? Or on the flip side, how can I donate my time or my effort or my money? Because it takes a ton of volunteers.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of money, but it takes more volunteers than money. It takes a ton of volunteers to pull off the wishes.
Right.
Contact us directly, Sunny Side Up Podcast at storiesandscoopsmedia.com. And what I'll do is I'll forward you to the right direction, because we get a lot of connections within the Make-A-Wish organization, not only in the state of Oklahoma, but nationally.
Again, use every single one of the resources that you have as far as contacting us. If you don't use email, find us on Instagram, Facebook, if you're more of that social media user, and we'll get you directed to the right place, I promise you.
Because I'm telling you, this is an amazing organization that's blessed beyond belief. And once the ball starts rolling, it's like people just step up and go, sure. Need something?
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's really cool. That it gives you. That's another thing with Make-A-Wish is it really gives you. If you've kind of lost hope in humanity, go to a Make-A-Wish event.
Yeah,
trust me.
One of the more current Make-A-Wish events happened here in Oklahoma in January, when a little girl in Oklahoma City wanted to go hang out and be a Thunder player for a day. Yeah. So they suited her up. They take her to the back room, back in the locker room, and her and her brother get to hang out with the background people, right?
Yeah.
And some of the lesser known players, some of the folks on the bench spent a lot of time with her, and they take them out on the court, and they get to meet some of the squad that you might recognize. But Russell Westbrook walks out on the court with a pair of tennis shoes for both of them and spends some time with them. Yeah. So just stuff like that. I mean, they go way above and beyond every wish that's ever granted.
Yeah.
These are all stories, believe it or not, from our part of the world. These are from literally miles away from where we are.
Really?
In north central Oklahoma. So these kids were probably touched by our local Make-A-Wish fundraising.
Great.
You don't know them. You don't know them, but they're kids in our local Make-A-Wish fundraiser. A little girl by the name of Malia, 4 years old, wanted to be a ballerina. She didn't know how to dance. She had no idea, but she saw it on a cartoon, a TV or something, wanted to be a ballerina.
Yeah.
They take her over to the Tulsa Ballet, fit her up with a ballet outfit with the shoes and the whole thing, and they teach her ballet. They put her up on the stage with the rest of the Tulsa Ballet.
Yeah.
And during that night's performance of Sleeping Beauty, she received a dress designed exactly like the lead role, like Sleeping Beauty's dress.
Right.
She was given a pair of shoes that the ballerina played during the show, and capped it off by posing for a picture with the entire cast of Sleeping Beauty during the applause segment.
That's very cool.
Another
That's
one.
Neat.
A 17-year-old Anthony has a brain tumor. He wanted to go fishing in Panama City, Florida.
Oh, doable.
Okay, fishing
Let's
trip.
do it.
Right, let's just go fishing.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not a Make-A-Wish fish. The whole family gets to go on these trips, by the way. It's not just the child.
Sure.
Business owners and residents of Panama City wanted to make sure it was a memorable event for them. They started out at a burger joint.
Yeah.
And essentially reserved the entire restaurant for the family.
Oh, wow.
All right, just bought the whole place out. The whole staff waited on them. Their meals were provided. The owner and employees of the restaurant were inspired by the story, wanted to do something small to put a smile on his face, and they created an experience to give Anthony's and entire family
that's just
once in a lifetime.
Things like that,
all right?
You know?
I
Next
can
one.
go on
man,
and on and on.
I love it.
And this is just from our part of the world. I'm talking about local stuff for us here locally. Santiago wanted to go to the Nike headquarters in Oregon.
Yeah.
All right. He's a
that's
sports
cool.
fan.
Yeah.
He's 20 years old. He's had some problems with leukemia, but he's still with us. And his wish got granted. He got taken up to the Nike's headquarters in Oregon. They gave him the obligatory tour that they will any guests, but then they said, oh, but wait, this is a Make-A-Wish wish.
Yeah.
How about you design your own pair of Nikes?
Oh, wow.
You design them, we'll make them, and we'll give them to you while you're here.
Yeah.
So he walked away with a free pair of his very own individual Nikes.
That is so cool. So neat.
Let's see. 17-year-old Donna wanted to have a shopping spree.
Yeah.
So they literally packed her and her family up and took off to Dallas for a 2-day shopping spree.
It's
and
a good place to
bought
go
her
for a shopping
everything,
spree.
okay?
Oh, wow.
Sam, 11 years old, wanted to go to Australia. Australia. So they took him down there. He got to see the Great Barrier Reef, meet a baby koala, and explored the wild Australian coast.
Yeah.
Now, the cool thing about, and you've seen some of this firsthand too, Brandon, the cool thing about Make-A-Wish is, and this is a great example, so we're going to go to Australia.
Right.
Well, how do you get to Australia from the middle of the United States of America?
I mean, you got to fly
All
or
right.
you got to do something, right?
And it's not something that happens in a couple of hours. It's not like we're going to go down and get a pizza.
No.
So here's how Make-A-Wish works. They coordinate with airlines, they coordinate with businesses, they coordinate with volunteers, and they try to get everything they can given free.
Right.
But then they use the extra monies that are donated to fill the voids that can't be done for free.
Sure.
So what they'll do in this particular case, I promise you, with Sam, the Make-A-Wish people would show up in a limo at the front door of their house.
Yeah.
And they would have already met with mom and dad and told them what all to pack and what to expect to go to Australia.
Right.
But they would have literally gone up, knocked on the door, and said, you need to give me those suitcases, that. Mom and dad, brothers and sisters, go get in the limo.
Yeah.
We're taking it from here. Grab the bags, grab everything. And from the moment they leave the house until the moment they return, they don't have to do anything at all.
Just get everything taken care of.
Literally.
That is
waited on, hand by hand. They take the limo
Yeah.
to the airport. At the airport, another group of Make-A-Wish volunteers are waiting for them at the airport to get them onto the plane. On the plane, there's Make-A-Wish volunteers. The airline knows about it.
Yeah.
They fly to Australia. At each and every destination along the way, there'd be volunteers from Make-A-Wish with the signs going, come over here, get your bags, we got it, don't worry about it. They get to Australia, there's Make-A-Wish volunteers down there. They say, hello, welcome to Australia, give me those bags, let's take you to the hotel. They don't have to think about it. And they literally take them from point A to point B.
That's also what's great about Make-A-Wish is not only do they grant the wish, but they take care of them the whole time. And it's like, anybody that's ever gone on a trip knows that that can be stressful trying to remember everything. They'll just take care of it. And that's really awesome. So
there's a couple of other Make-A-Wish stories. One kid wanted to go to Disney World. Well, you know that the Dark Knight lives at Disney World now.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So Batman showed up at the little boy's school going, guess what? His name was Jay. He said, guess what, Jay? I'm Batman, and you're going with me to Disney World.
Oh, my gosh. Any little kid would love that.
My favorite personal one, this one is my favorite of all time, happened a few years ago. A little boy wanted to be R2-D2. R2-D2 is a short one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember this, actually, I think.
R2-D2. So Make-A-Wish got together and said, we can do that. And this little boy, he's in a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. He's handicapped. And so I'm not sure what disease he's dealing with, but they get him in the wheelchair, and they contact the local school system, and they say, look, little Tommy, I don't remember his name. We'll call him Tommy. Tommy wants to be a Jedi Knight. He wants to be R2-D2, but he really wants to be a Jedi Knight. Okay, we can do that. So they contacted the grade school, and they contacted the middle school, and they contacted the high school. And all of the faculty and all of the students and all the parents, they all got together for one day to surprise little Tommy in the basketball gym.
Right.
They were all dressed up as Star Wars characters. And I'm not talking about just hokey pokey. I mean, like, really, literally, there was stormtroopers everywhere. There were Jedi Knights everywhere.
Right.
And when Tommy rolled into the auditorium or into the basketball gym, he didn't know this.
Yeah.
And they go, we need R2-D2's help. And sitting there was an R2-D2 wheelchair.
Yeah.
So they picked him up out of his wheelchair, put him in the R2-D2 wheelchair, gave him a lightsaber, and said, Luke Skywalker needs help down at the other end of the court. So they whisked him down there, and Luke Skywalker's fighting the Imperial forces. And out walks, and down the steps from the opposing team's basketball goal walks Darth Vader.
Of course. Why wouldn't
the fight
Darth
is
Vader?
on, and R2-D2 beat Darth Vader.
Of course.
Now, for this little kid's like 4 years old, 5 years old, little bitty kid,
eating it up.
He
man.
will
That's
never,
awesome. Never. Yeah.
He will never forget it. And for that moment in his life, and that's at the root of it all. That's what Make-A-Wish is all about: is helping these kids and these families who are in pain. And a lot of times it's terminal illnesses. It's not always a terminal illness. Sometimes they beat the cancer. Sometimes they beat the leukemia. Other times it's a terminal illness that they know is coming in their 20s or their 30s. And yet it's a time for them to just forget about the junk and go be a Jedi Knight or go to Disney World to swim with dolphins. And I got to give a shout out to the WWE before I forget about that one. Mm-hmm. The WWE alone, John Cena is one of them, but the WWE is granted somewhere around, I can't remember, it's a lot. It's a lot of wishes since the 1980s. They started literally right after, it's in the thousands of wishes. They started right after the ladies started the Make-A-Wish events.
Wow.
And they joined her
it.
at the very beginning. Ms. Pauling, Linda Pauling, they joined her in celebrating that. So John Cena and all of the Make-A-Wish divas and fighters, or WWE fighters and divas, will do that on a whim. They do it all the time. So it's cool.
Yeah, I enjoy all those stories. It's honestly it's really cool.
So let's hear a story from a couple of real life Make-A-Wish kids. Katie and Jared Goss share their story with us.
My name is Katie Goss.
My name is Jennifer Goss. I am Katie's mom. Katie has a disease called Friedrich's ataxia.
And basically all it does is take away every single muscle.
It's considered a muscular dystrophy disease, so it breaks down their muscles, so eventually they end up in a wheelchair and assistance with everything. Katie's not that advanced yet, but it's on down that road.
I've had this disease since I was 11. My wish was to go to Hawaii. I swam with the dolphins. And then the second day, we went snorkeling. The third day, we went to a luau at Paradise Cove, and that was fun.
Katie has a big brother, Jared. Jared also has Friedrich's ataxia.
My name is Jared Goss. My wish was to go coach the Minnesota Vikings.
It was the most amazing thing that I have ever done. Make-A-Wish did such a wonderful job. When Adrian shook Jared's hand, Jared told him to, come on, Adrian, put some muscle in it. And
I basically told them to run the ball more, and they did. Adrian Peterson got his longest touchdown run, 80 yards.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation keeps me focused because as long as they keep us involved in everything. And I just love them to death.
Make-A-Wish has changed my perspective on life. They did so much for me and my family. It would be wrong not to give back.
By request, Jane Roweeder, heading up Make-A-Wish Oklahoma, she said, you got to give Make-A-Wish Oklahoma the shout-out. Give them the plug. So,
of course,
if you want to donate, we'll make a link to Make-A-Wish Oklahoma here. Also, Sunny Side Up Podcast at storiesandscoopsmedia.com's our email address.
Yeah.
How else are you going to call? How are you going to contact us? Is that the best way?
Well, there's Facebook, there's Instagram.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people
all those
that
messages
use.
that we
Yep. And so, honestly, with our YouTube, you can even comment down below on these videos.
Yeah.
If you're on podcasting, it's a little bit more. You got to be a little bit more interactive with it.
Yeah.
Go to our Facebook. It's just Sunny Side Up. You'll find the logo. If you've never seen the Sunny Side Up logo, well then. You probably wouldn't be listening to this right now.
It looks like a daisy with
Sunny Side Up on it.
Sunny Side Up, the side is backwards.
Yes. So, anyways, find us on Facebook, Instagram.
The side is backwards?
It is backwards.
It's backwards.
Oh, no.
No,
but
right,
there's anyway.
Yep.
And I do a lot of the social media stuff, so I'll see it and redirect it to wherever it needs to be. And honestly, it's super easy to contact us. It's easier than you think it is. And if you don't like using email, I know a lot of people that like it, a lot of people that don't. Do that. Do social media. We're on it. So,
all right.
Well, this has been a good episode. We've missed Angel, so she'll be back next week.
Be back next week. And don't tell your mom I'm wearing her T-shirt.
I won't, but she knows now.
Oops.
Yeah. See you after the podcast coming up next. Bye. Welcome to After the Podcast, episode 9, and there's actually video this time. It messed up last week.
Wow.
It corrupted. It happens, guys. Yeah. It just happens, but it is what it is.
Yeah, like when you forget to hit the start button on the video.
Well, I didn't forget to hit the start button on the video, but I know Daniel's watching this. The dude called.
Yeah, Daniel called while we were using the smartphone.
Dead giveaway. I use my iPhone for this, but the XS iPhones, not to plug Apple here because they're already good enough to go. They don't need anybody else to shout them out. But their cameras are really good, so that's what we're using here.
Yeah.
So, but continuing Make-A-Wish stuff. Kind of wanted to talk about some stuff on a personal level that we've experienced with Make-A-Wish over the years, doing the radio station stuff and the events that we've done with it.
Let me tell you a story. We get to share a lot of stuff on After the Podcast that we can't share on the podcast.
Yeah, so feel special. You're here.
Yeah. The Make-A-Wish fundraiser started 8 years ago on a spring day, on a Sunday, when I was watching ESPN, and they had a Make-A-Wish wish that was being granted by the Minnesota Vikings. The NFL's all over. We plugged the WWE like crazy during the podcast, but the NFL, all the other pro sports all over Make-A-Wish.
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings were granting a wish to a child to be a coach for a day.
Right.
And I thought, this is pretty cool. I had to contact Make-A-Wish tomorrow at work, and so I did the following day.
Sure.
After I got off my morning radio show, contacted them, and the lady, Jane, said, do you have any need for kids that want to be DJs? Because I would love to help grant a wish. And she said, we don't have a lot of that, but we sure have a lot of need for money to grant wishes, like people getting to see John Cena or Garth Brooks or Russell. So I'm like, all of a sudden she starts naming these names. I'm like, I'm just such a small, tiny little bean on the pod. So that started the chain of events. It was like 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, and I promise you, it just fell together like crazy. It's like 9 o'clock on a Monday. I called Jane. By 10:30 that Monday, I had the place reserved that we were going to do the fundraising, and we did the first underwater fund. We did it, and if we can pull this off, putting some pictures in here, it would be really cool. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that or not.
We can try, see our editing skills.
But we broadcast from underwater. with you and I both and several other people used dive masks that were full-face dive masks, did the radio show from underwater. Well, that takes a lot of people to put. It was literally all put together by Wednesday. Within 3 days, every event from the tank that we were going to do it in to where we were going to get the water, where we were going to get the equipment. Ron Strickland, who was the dive instructor at the time that helped us out.
More people want to help than what you think is out there.
It's crazy.
I'm telling you, this is just a testament.
I have to look up something on my smartphone. I know you hate when I do this, but I got to look something up because it's big time.
It's a testament to how good the world still is.
Well,
and it gives you, it really gives you a good refresh on things. And I encourage everybody. We're going out this Saturday. It's in a couple of days,
right?
And we're going to do our next event here. We're doing Make a Burger this year. So
here
we'll be at
locally in Enid, Oklahoma. Yep.
So check that out, and honestly, we'll if you want to help, come raise money here in Enid. I mean, by all means, show up. We'll be there. I'll be there.
I promised these guys a long time ago that if I ever got the opportunity to plug them for all the help they did with us on those underwater Make-A-Wish Wishes events, I would. Nautical Adventures of Oklahoma at Lake Tenkiller. They're over southeast of Muskogee, southeast of Tulsa. They do the diving at Tenkiller Lake.
Right.
They are having their second annual Tenkiller Scuba Olympics for Make-A-Wish, Make a Dive.
It's cool.
And they did that because of the connection that they got with us through Make-A-Wish, and they're the people that gave us the dive equipment.
Wow.
To use underwater, the folks at Nautical Adventures.
And this dive equipment, man, it was top of the line.
And it still is.
Wasn't, yeah. So it wasn't. They really helped, and still just great people.
You can find them on. If you're a scuba diver, it's the Tenkiller Scuba Olympics. It's on Sunday this weekend. All right, it's this weekend, September 15th. There's going to be target shooting, navigation course, bowling, golf, shark tooth hunt, and a megalodon shark teeth hunt as well in Tenkiller Lake. And if you're a scuba diver, man, it is September. The water's going to be warm. I'll bet you from experience over there, the water's about 85 degrees right now in Tenkiller Lake.
Warm.
But look on Facebook for Nautical Adventures Scuba. They're good people, and I promised them a long time ago that I would talk about them.
And hey, as we get
here we are
bigger on the podcast, we got to shout them out again eventually. I promise you. So
now we need to tag them so they can tag us.
Yeah.
Can we tag them? We can do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this has been great. I mean, Make-A-Wish is just really, it's blown my mind of how much they can do and how much they do. So it's great. There's no other words for it.
And we really have been blessed. We've seen so many, and like I said, that first week, and I get it so mixed up because it happened so quickly, but it literally was in 3 days. Every piece of equipment, from the folks at Nautical Adventures to Ron, the dive master, to the staff that we worked with, RSVP and Enid helped us out with a location. I could name drop all day because that's what happens. Organizations look what you're doing. They're going, you're going to do this for free, and you're going to do this for these kids. Man, we're in.
Yeah.
We're in. And to that end, we've got to see kids go to Disneyland. Some of the money we raised, there's kids that went to Disneyland. A girl wanted her own pair of Nikes designed, and they got that done. Man, there's been tons of stuff.
They just do the work of and nobody else. It's just great. So
and the flip side of all this joy and happiness, and I'm so blessed that I have a healthy son, and I've never had to worry about. I worry about you all the time, but you've never been really sick. You broke your arm.
Yeah,
that's about it. Aside from a flu bug here or there, but you're almost like Bruce Willis in Unbreakable. It's kind of weird.
I don't know.
Well, no, not exactly.
Yeah,
you still have hair. But we're blessed as a family, and so for those people that aren't so blessed and have the kids that need wishes made true, if you're a family that needs a Make-A-Wish wish, we got all the connections for all the people. We'll contact them on your behalf, get you connected. All you got to do is contact us here at Sunny Side Up.
Yeah, and all the ways, email, Facebook. Instagram. That's all linked below. But
favorite moment for you in all these Make-A-Wishes? What's the one moment that you remember more than anything else? I know what it is for me. What's it for you?
There's a lot of them, but I think just recently last year, didn't we do the dive thing last year as well?
Mm-hmm.
Was that last year again? We did that. Really just enjoyed being able to, I had never gotten the chance to really hang out with the crew and just look at all the random people that would come up and just donate.
Oh, you mean when you were on the outside of the tank looking in?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, and it's what's really cool is that you can go up with a bucket and somebody sees a Make-A-Wish banner and there's no questioning to it, nothing like that. They just give, and so again, that's sort of a restore faith of humanity, and
which is what
really
we're
cool
hoping
deal.
for this weekend's Make-A-Wish event that we're doing here locally in Enid, Oklahoma.
And hey, show up to that. Like I said it earlier, but do. I mean, it's
the annual Cherokee Strip celebration.
Yes,
and if you don't know what the Cherokee Strip is, it's not like this R-rated dance. It's not that at all. It's the Cherokee Strip outlet that in Oklahoma, the land run. It's the celebration of the giving away the land in the 1890s.
Come and meet us if you've never met Angel.
Absolutely.
Will be there. I'll be there.
Yeah,
of
we'll
course
all be
you'll
there.
be there.
Yeah,
and come meet us if you've never met us before. We encourage you and stay there a while. Stay with us and hey, we'd love to any help at all. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
So,
my favorite moment of Make-A-Wish, and it ends up being in the dive tank again. And the dive tank is so difficult because it's so much more work than anybody is ever going to know, because we have to coordinate stuff, and being on the radio, we don't get to take microphones under the water with us, so they have to be self-contained, and you got to be able to hear the water. You have to almost learn how to read lips through the water, looking at people outside, because it's hard to hear them. But there are the stories that we share. We could maybe even share a story in this. It might be a little dicey to do it, but we could share a story or two of a family that was helped toward the end of our After the podcast.
I don't see why not.
And give you an idea of the stories. Trying to be in a scuba outfit and cry at the same time is hard to do. But I don't want to say favorite, but most poignant memories of listening to all those stories through the years of a lot of heartbreak, but also a lot of relief and a lot of joy in their hearts when they get their wishes made true. Because every single story, it ends, even in the stories that end badly with the kids passing away, it ends with a smile.
Yeah,
it really does. So, Make-A-Wish, Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's a cool deal, and see, it's so cool.
Yeah,
that we have an organization like this, and it's immeasurable the things that they have done. Really, so. Come join us Saturday.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, it's I love and again, it's just so cool to see all these people helping. And that alone will make you want to come. I promise.
Absolutely.
So,
all right.
Well, but hey, this has been After the Podcast, and we got some video this week. That's finally good. But
Yay!
Hey, Angel will be back next week. We promise you.
Okay.
She'll be back. Come see us Saturday if you're out and about in the Enid area, or if you even want to travel. We'll be there
September
too.
the 14th. 2019.
Yeah.
If you're watching this like in 2050,
don't.
We're really old,
not
and
there.
we're probably not. Yeah.
Don't do that.
I probably didn't need to explain that, did I?
Yeah, probably not. But that's okay. Well, we'll see you next week.
See ya.
See ya.